I know, obviously, last year, they were the first playoff game. When's the last time they weren't the first playoff game? It feels like because at first it was at ESPN with Mike Tirico and John Gruden that always got hit with that 3:30 Saturday playoff game where it felt like, damn, when it's over, hell, are you even in it anymore? But they seem to always find themselves in it. I remember they were in it when they played with Brian Hoyer, and he got to the playoffs with them. They seem to be in that sucker every game.
It appears from my quick research here that in the entirety of the Texans' history of making the NFL playoffs, they have played in this window.
Every time?
Every single time.
Damn.
Saturday, wild card, Saturday, wild card, Saturday, wild card, Saturday, wild card, Saturday, wild card.
Damn.
Yeah, no respect, man.
I thought there might be an outside chance they get that.
I like being the first one.
When you lose.
I ain't got no problem with it.
When you lose, it feels like, damn, you wasn't even in it.
No, not for me. I do a post-game show.
yeah, you got it. So they got the first one coming up, but we'll be looking at that one a lot. But CJ, it was short and sweet, Clint. But as you said, 6 for 6, 50 yards on the drive, a touchdown, no turnovers, and Clint, really, I mean, as you said, I believe it, not much better you can ask for, but from what you saw. This A++ for you in the time that he was in there?
Absolutely. It's not his decision to be made that he was pulled out in one drive. And if it were, then I would bump his grade down a notch. Yeah. But right now, I mean, given the snaps that he was given, one drive, it couldn't have been any better. And look, in the, hey, I saw enough, frame of mind, I'm not there. But if you want to look at it through that lens of, hey, it was one drive, I'd rather not risk the injury. I love the fact that at least what we know is that the team prepared the entire week leading up to it as if they were going to play the entire game. So I love the fact that those guys got reps throughout the week. If you're going to give them one drive, I'd prefer the drive go this way. Again, it was absolutely flawless, with the exception, I think there was one penalty at some point in that first drive. Yeah, given that if you went into the game and said we're going to give C.J. Stroud one drive, then I would have hoped that it would go this way, and you could not gain any more confidence. I mean, you couldn't get any more value out of that one drive than what C.J. Stroud got out of it. Here's the other thing. The other part of it is and this just dawned on me as we're talking. Like the thought that Nico Collins went back in the game without C.J. Stroud and ran another play to get to 1,000 yards is a risk that's silly to me. If you're not going to play because of the risk associated with a game in preparation for a playoff game. So, those kind of things, Joe Mixon goes out there and plays enough to get to 1,000 yards. Nico Collins goes back out there, and I think Davis Mills threw him his first pass to get to 1,000 yards, I think it was. Those kinds of taking those kind of risks are silly if on the flip side of it, you're not going to play guys and prepare them for the playoff game. So, but if we're looking at that one drive, A+, CJ couldn't have got any more out of time on the field than what he did.
Well, to me, A+, and I think that's the deal of like, damn, you just wanted to see some more of it, to see like, all right, and I like the way you put it earlier. Is, boy, how much better would they have felt if this would have been, over a full half, over 3/4 going into it? Because I mean, the way he was playing, he looked like this was going to be a 350-yard day if they wanted it. With multiple touchdowns. I
mean, we were looking at 80+% completion percentage, multiple touchdowns. I mean, you're looking at a monster day to go into a playoff game and really move the needle for that young fella. So it was there for the take, and they just chose to not take it.
But some of the things that we were seeing that were issues was his accuracy. He was on the money with damn near every throw. And then, hey man, getting the ball to who needs to touch the ball. Mm-hmm. And on the drive, everybody touched the ball was Joe Mixon, and I'm talking about his throws. It's 11 plays. It is throw to Nico, run to Mixon, or throw to Mixon, except for one pass, and it got to Dalton Schultz, who is another person that you want to get the ball to.
Absolutely.
I think those were big. So some of this is a combination of Bobby, too, obviously, and where the thing is going. But ultimately, he makes the final decision. But I love that there was no, God, he missed that one. There wasn't even hey, damn, he had to reach behind him and make a catch to help him out. That ball that he threw on 3rd and 1 down there, the fade route to Nico, that puppy was on the money, big time. Get your feet down with Nico, but it wasn't thrown out of bounds. It was on the money. So seeing his accuracy back to what we were accustomed to seeing, not saying that's going to be a complete fix, but at least, hell, on 6 throws yesterday, it looked like the CJ, what do he call himself coming out of the draft? The ball placement specialist. Is that it?
Yeah.
That looked like he was in that, and he said those six throws he had.
And there's no doubt. I've been this guy before that's struggling, and I don't want to minimize the one drive, because I get so frustrated with D'Amico's decision and Bobby's decision that I can sometimes that'll overshadow like how valuable I do think the one drive was. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Ron, I don't think it's a stretch. I don't know how many people. I personally don't think it's a stretch at all to say that the guy that I cover on a daily basis and listen to his audio and watch his play and watch his film, like, he's a fragile quarterback, relatively speaking, to the other greats in the NFL. He is. There's some doubting.
Explain exactly what you mean by fragile, because I think some people hear that as such a negative place of it. What do you mean?
Fine. It can be negative. It's just there's a fragile. Like, he is not uber confident. He is not seeing the game clear. He feels that. He senses that. He knows his mechanics aren't right. He can't trust his mechanics. There's the injuries. There's some trust there with guys that you haven't played a boatload with, relatively speaking, to Tank Dell and Diggs. And so I just think all in all, there's a lot of insecurity around C.J. Stroud right now, where last year there was a lot of, hey, even when problems emerged, boy, I overcame them. I made guys around me better. I made the situation right. I played at a high level, where this year things weren't perfect around me, and I shrunk in the moment a lot of the times. I made mistakes a lot of times. So I think whether we're talking about his confidence and trust in himself, his confidence and trust in his eyes and what he's seeing, his confidence and trust in his mechanics, all of that is fragile, relatively speaking, to other great quarterbacks in the league and C.J. Stroud of last year. So
his bounce back to adversity isn't.
It hasn't been the same this year, and it's natural. Adversity is the toughest part of life. It's the toughest part of the game, especially right after you've just been put on this pedestal as the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now all of a sudden we've backslid a little bit, and how do you handle that? He'll get through it. But the reality of it is, he's a fragile quarterback right now. He needs to see some positivity. He needs to feel good in the pocket. He needs to see the guys around him make plays. He needs to go out there and process defenses and see it slowly and see it. Oh, I got that. I'm one step ahead of you. Watch this. Boom, 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 and watch it work out for him. Right? That's he needs that. And when you need that kind of thing, you're in a fragile state. And so I say all that to say, one drive, that dude goes home at night after that ball game when they got back to Houston, and he went back to his crib, and he sat up there, and he felt 10 times better than he did when that game kicked off. Because there ain't no doubt about it that C.J. Stroud was doubting himself, his abilities, his ability to put this team on his back and lift them up and go win playoff games and play consistent and answer the bell. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt that he was not feeling as confident as he has in the past. That one drive, in his mind, I guarantee you, feels like a whole damn game.
Yeah, if he, to me, as I've said, he and many others within the fan base and on the team needed something to wipe out what happened against Baltimore. And now the last time he was out on the field, like someone just texted in, Ronnie, it's just Ron. They were playing the Titans. How much can you take from that? I'm telling you right now, to a point that you said, I think the whole team feels this way. But as we're talking about CJ, Like, they needed to see something.
Absolutely, 100%.
They needed to see and you know what? As we're sitting there talking about it, Tyler, I think maybe that's why D'Amico went with the route of, hey, I don't want nothing else in his
that was
mind.
So good, I don't want to ruin it.
I don't we've been hearing, they've been doing this for weeks. They have been there. It has been, Operation Get CJ Feeling Good. I mean, they've been doing it for weeks. I got to get back to feeling myself. There may have been a plan, fellas, of let's get him a half. But then we go 11 plays, 6 for 6, 50 yards. The last thing you do is you throw a touchdown to your guy.
Let's bottle that up and get out of here.
Like, the last thing I want is him to have some incompletions or him to throw a pick
fair.
or something
That's
else.
fair.
And he said, you know what? This is what I want. So I could see that going into a major play into why he went there. It was 11 plays, and that might have been it. So, yeah, I think it is a big deal that especially he got to see, all right, man, look, that sideline throw, that's one of those throws that not a lot of guys in the league can make and put on the money. Mm-hmm. And I think he needed to see that. He needed to see that.
Well, there's no doubt they all needed to see it. I'd say Bobby Slow. Hell, I'd say D'Amico needed to see it. Like you look at it, the ripple effect, right? Like D'Amico Ryans is not as confident in 4th and 2 situations as he was earlier in the year and as he was last year. There's no way in hell he is. I mean, whether you want to blame him on the offensive line, Bobby Slowick, CJ, doesn't matter. Like the entire operation on the offensive side of the football needed to see some level of success, and that one drive hopefully gave them what they need. Now, we'll find out. We'll find out Saturday against the Chargers if it changed any damn thing. But there's light bulb moments all the time as a quarterback and as a play caller for damn sure. I would imagine as a player at any position, but I've only played quarterback. Like, there's light bulb moments of like, okay, boom, now let's take off. We've seen it every year. Guys struggle. All of a sudden, the game slows down for them, whether it's because they're in a new system and that now they feel comfortable in the system, or it's they get the right chemistry with the play caller, or they get the right chemistry with one of their pass catchers. There's those light bulb moments where it's just like, all right, now let's take the hell off. Hopefully, that drive where CJ was nails and the offense was really, really good, hopefully that was that moment, and we'll see it take off against the Chargers. We'll see.
But we ain't got to take off too far now. It's just a text in. Ron Clint, the Titans have the number 2 defense in the league. The old CJ is back. He looked confident. I think CJ has been hurt secretly. Listen, I don't want to get too aggressive. I'm just saying I think he really needed to see that. I think he really needed to see that and have that bad taste out of his mouth. I'm not about to come back and say, like, hey, expect the dude that everybody expected this season. Expect the guy that a lot of people thought would maybe be a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm not getting too – I'm not – I'm just saying he looked better. And like you said, this is a guy who needs anything to lift his confidence right now. And I think yesterday helped. I'm not sitting here to say this is the 7 is back. We'll see. We will see against the Chargers. But, damn it, I feel much better that this is the last thing that he did, Clint, and not that pick in the third quarter to Marlon Humphrey or whatever else they did against the Ravens. So, yeah, A++ around for C.J. Stroud. That was a big-time performance. Like you said, boy, if he stayed in there, he could have put up. He looked like he was clearing to do what Bo Nix did to the Chiefs yesterday.
Yeah, man. Boy, he pieced him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I know it was their 2s and 3s, but boy, he pieced them.
He did, right from the jump. There was some ones out there. All right.
2 of them.
A couple of ones out there. He gave him work too.
A couple of 1 stars.
I ain't gonna lie. They had a guy come out there play linebacker. Said, yep, grabbed him 2 days ago off the Jets practice squad. I said, really? All right. Yeah, but no, he was well on his way to having a game like